Welcome to Project M, the Triple M reality show. I'm Pat Gallagher, Program Director for 105.5 Triple M, along with my co-host, Jonathan Sutton, one half of Jonathan and Kitty in the Morning on Triple M, and last year's Project M champion, Mike Droho. Our special guest judge this week is a Madison Area Music Award-winning singer, songwriter, a journalist, a critic, and in fact, he's the arts and entertainment editor for Isthmus, Madison's weekly newspaper. Please welcome to Project M, Kenneth Burns. Go ahead and give him a round of applause.
For Project M, we're down to 8 of Madison's finest musicians, including Paul, Keith, Jimmy, Beth, Anna, Corey, Dan, and Heather Jean. They are all competing in weekly songwriting challenges. Obviously, I can't read, but I love them all.
On the line, a song in regular rotation on Triple M, a face-to-face meeting with an Atlantic Records representative, an opening slot at an upcoming Atlantic Records artist concert, a $500 gift certificate for Good and Loud Music, a $100 gift certificate for Ancora Coffee Roasters, and 12 hours of world-class recording time at the state-of-the-art recording facilities at Madison Media Institute.
Our challenge for this week was designed by our studio audience from last week. When they arrived, we asked them to write down a few things: an emotion, a place, and a thing. And all the musicians were randomly assigned one of each of those things, and they had to put them into an original song and came up with some interesting stuff, potentially. We'll see.
But before we get to this week's performance, we have a little business to take care of. This would normally be the time that we would eliminate somebody based on last week's performances. Unfortunately, we actually have a couple of eliminations to announce this time around. In order to be fair with the online voting in the Duets Challenge, we didn't announce an elimination last week. So we'll start with that one, based on the challenge from 2 weeks ago, to write a song inspired by a great work of art.
And we have one or maybe two more eliminations, this based on last week's Duets Challenge.
But first, let's get to the elimination for the great work of art. Need a couple people to step forward. Dan and Heather. Dan, your song your song seemed incomplete to us. It seemed like it needed a bit of an editing job to it. It was almost too literal of an interpretation of the picture that you were given, and it was like you had to tell the entire story of each and every person in the diner. It basically needed an editing process. Heather, I think you might know why you're up here. You started the song, you stopped the song, which is bad in itself, but you didn't get over it. You just, it seemed to affect you almost all the way through the song when you performed it. The songwriting was pretty decent, but the performance itself was weak last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. One of you needs to go home, one of you will stay. Heather, please pack up your guitar case and go.
Okay, so now we have to figure out who goes away when it comes to the duets. This was a very tough challenge. And should we start off with maybe the winner?
Yeah, right after the competition last week, we got together in a room and talked as judges as to who was the best and who was the worst of the competition. And we spent about an hour fighting. I mean, literally screaming at each other and fighting about who should be eliminated and who should stay. A couple people we want to bring forward right away. Jimmy and Heather, please step forward. We deemed yours the best performance of the week. You may have heard us say on the radio that, I know that's a little ironic, isn't it? You may have heard us say on the radio that we chose a winner, but we weren't able to choose a loser from that. We loved your performance all the way through. It felt like it was ready to go on the radio immediately. As the winners this week, we have a pair of tickets for each of you to go to Lilith Fair in Chicago, so congratulations.
Okay, so you guys can step back, and now I guess everybody else has to step forward as duet partners. Go back with find your partner.
Who's who?
Jimmy, you're fine. You could stay back. This was killer. As far as the online voting, the percentages were Anna and Beth had 26% of the vote, Corey and Dan had 26%, and then Paul and Keith had 32%. So Paul and Keith, you guys are safe. You can step back. I don't know what to say. We don't know what to say. It was splitting hairs. We literally did fight.
Ridiculous.
And for every positive of one, we could find a negative of the other and go up and back. And I mean, seriously, there was screaming and going up and back. And we can't give you a specific one reason. You guys were all awesome. But Dan and Corey, you're going to have to pack your guitar cases.
Well, thanks for all your support. It was fun. Bye.
Project M is thanks to the Century House Modern and Scandinavian Furniture. They designed the set that we use at Project M. And you can see and buy all the great furniture that you see here at the Century House. Also, Heartland Credit Union. It's different in the Heartland. Monster Energy Drink. Labatt Blue, Good and Loud Music, Ancora Coffee Roasters, Madison Media Institute, Smart Scion, and Ian's Pizza.